Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna leave. I'ma get right. Get right. Down to the bottom and scratch it for all the...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here. What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I gotta give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do you want to lose your league?
Our league, check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
And best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
You're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
But I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta, and this is Get Right Fantasy Network. I'm here on this lovely Wednesday evening with my boy, my partner in crime here, Mr. Fish and Frank the champ. How you doing, man? Happy Wednesday. It's week 3 already.
Yeah, it's happening.
Like that.
It's like that. You're right. Some guys are 0-2. Some guys are 1-1. Some guys are 2-0. It's like happening real quick.
You're either leading, following, or getting out of the way at this point, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, it's good stuff going on, man. For the folks that are new here with us, man, why don't you tell them real quick what we have going on here on the Wednesday show?
So tonight we're going to be doing some buy, sell, trade types of talk here. We're going to do some Thursday night start sit, injury news updates, and we're going to do some new thing here called the trade philosophy and tip segment. So today's topic will be discussing buying high and selling low. Something very interesting for you guys, you know. Again, we're going to offer some top 3 trade targets that we're looking to buy and sell. And just live Q&A as we always do at the end of the, towards the end of the segment here. So yeah, stick around. We got a lot coming up for you. For sure. And for those that are new to the channel as well, we are with you basically. We have shows going on almost all week. You could pause the channel here. You'll see we're here with you guys Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. You can catch our boy Tycoon in the Fantasy Boardroom on Tuesdays. Our boy Phil Ruskin over with the Extra Point on Thursdays, leading right up to Thursday Night Football. And then, of course, you'll see our boy Kendall with the Fantasy Football Tavern, the Sweet Life pod with Jack and Cody. They don't do live shows yet, but they will be dropping recorded content for you guys as well, too. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Remember to turn on those notifications so that when we're dropping videos here, you guys will get that content coming for you here for our Fantasy Football Degenerates, man. That's what we're here for. So, Frank, why don't you tell them where they can subscribe to these guys? Yeah, all the links are in the description. You'll find all our, Get Right Fantasy Network affiliates right here in the direct channels and the descriptions. We're also going to be including timestamps and chapters, so you guys can skip ahead to the content you want. Not that we always want you to, skip some of these things. We want you to watch our full shows, but sometimes you don't have time and you got 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a drive or whatever, and you just want to check out, buy, sell, trade options or waiver wire options or whatnot. So then you can just kind of listen to those segments and move on. But we got a new feature here, right, Ant? What's the new feature we got going on? Absolutely, man. So like you said, we will be doing a live Q&A section here from our live chat. So make sure you drop those questions in now. We will get to them at the end of the show. If you want us to get to them right away, you can drop us a super chat. We will get to it right away when we see it come up. Otherwise, just hang around. Or again, if you do have to go watch back later, hit those timestamps. You can go right to the Q&A section and get the answer to the question that you asked earlier in the show. So we'll do our best to try to stay here and answer as many questions as we can towards the end of the show. So without any further ado, man, you guys ready to roll your sleeves up and let's get into this show, man. You ready? Raven show yo is ready. He said my sleeves are up. Rolled up, man. That's what's up. Shout out to Ravens, man. Robert Thomas, evening gang. He's got a flex going on. Even Raven show yo's like 2-0. There it is. Money. There it is. There it is. All right, man. So let's get into it. I think I have a banner for this. We have our Thursday night preview, man. So we'll get into this. Start sit, Patriots at Jets. We have the Jets coming in favored by 6 with a 38.5 point over under.
So not too much going on here in this game as far as injuries go. Probably one of the first, maybe kind of dull, if you will, primetime games. I mean, all the primetime games so far have been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
Surprisingly, right?
yeah, exactly. So we got to get one of those in here somewhere, I guess. And so yeah, we have Patriots, Jets. Who knows? It could be a good game. They always play each other well. But again, it's without Belichick, which is interesting. No real significant injuries going on here. There's some O-line and, defensive injuries, but nothing really as far as offensive fantasy options that we'll be discussing here. So let's talk about some guys here. If we're starting or sitting these guys, let's start at the quarterback position with Aaron Rodgers. How you feeling about Aaron Rodgers this week, Frank?
I'm going to throw it out there and go ahead and see what's going on with them. I was kind of sneakily wanted to pick him up this season and have him as second QB kind of bench guy and see what happens with them. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do like a late QB and have him as my starting guy because he is getting longer in the years and, we just not sure how he's going to do. But he's been doing better so far. He is facing the number 11 defense with the Patriots and 29th in the pass, though. So that will help. You know what I mean? Hopefully he gets some passing on there going on to him. So let's see what happens with that part.
Yeah, right now he's sitting at QB 20 overall. Like you mentioned, got the Niners, his first game action in, almost 2 years, had to knock some rust off. Looked a little better here. Was able to throw for 2 touchdowns, still hasn't thrown for over 200 yards. So we'll see what happens. I have him as a sit in 1 QB leagues, but I feel, okay throwing him out there in a super flex league as your super flex option or a second QB in like a 12 team. So there you go, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're up there as 6-point favorites. I guess because the last meeting they went Jets 17, Patriots 3, but the Patriots haven't been looking too bad this year. Honestly, they're 5th in rushing and whatnot, so it should be an interesting game. I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be too terrible. But at least we get to see, Aaron Rodgers in prime time. Let's see what he really's got. I'd like to see more of Ramondre Stevenson as well and running over there. I think we have him as a must start right there, right?
Yeah. So the only must starts that I'm looking at are Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson, and of course Breece Hall. Somebody I do want to talk about played a little more coming off this ACL injury. Mike Williams. Everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of him. So I personally have him as a sit. Oh, okay. I was gonna say so. Just you have him as a sit as well. Not really touching him at this point. All right.
Yeah, I'm never excited about him.
With him playing,
he's just hit and miss. He's just so hit and miss. You can never trust him.
Right.
Tell me, magic ball, and tell me when he's gonna have that big game and know when to start him. Then by all means. But he's too volatile for me.
Yeah, he's kind of almost in that Gabe Davis, situation. Maybe better in best ball. So you don't have to worry about when to start him. So your guy that you were big on after week 1 came back down to earth in week 2, Mr. The Lazard King over here. I have him as a sit here this week. I think he, came back down to earth. But if Rodgers is going to be playing better, do you think, there's a path here for Lazard?
Let's look at those numbers because Garrett Wilson has 10 receptions, 117 yards, and Alan Lazard has 8 receptions for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, go figure, right?
Yeah, but 2 for 11 last week and only played 82% of the snaps after playing 100% of the snaps against San Francisco week 1.
So, and I think it's going to be that way the rest of the way. It's going to be one of those hit and miss type when Aaron, decides to throw his way or he happens to get open depending on who they're playing. It's going to bode well for him, right? And then on, kind of bad matchups where he's going to, have tougher defenses that he's going to face. And it's just going to go to Garrett Wilson or somebody else. So I think you just got to play the matchup basically. I think with him, it's kind of like picking up that defense is pairing Carolina or something, right? It's like
right.
Who's going to be the next guy up? It's like that's when you're going to play him or whatnot.
For sure, I have him as a sit. The next guy here, Jalen Polk, caught the touchdown last week. Like you said, these Patriots aren't quite as bad as we thought they were going to be coming out. So how do you feel about Jalen Polk?
I'd start him as a number 2 wide receiver / number 3, right? Low number 2, high number 3. You got to give him the opportunity. Obviously, he's a rookie, but he's getting the looks now. It's kind of early in the season. You kind of want to wait on the rookies a little later on in the season. Let them develop. Let them get used to the system. Gain speed going with the NFL, all that kind of stuff. But if you got him in your lineup, you don't got nobody else better. Yeah, he's a low end number 2, high end number 3 type wide receiver at this point.
I have him closer into that wide receiver 4 range, or even wide receiver 5.
So
He did get the touchdown last week, but it was only 2 catches on 3 targets for 12 yards.
That's rough.
But you do like, the fact that he is looked at as an end zone target, being 6'1", 203. He has the size. Let's just see how, this team, develops. If he is the number 1 here, he's probably going to be sauced up. So I'm probably not going to want to, start someone as a rookie going up against literally one of the best, if not the best corner. If they even decide he's worth shadowing at all. So,
yeah, I don't think
if anything, they might be better served putting sauce on this next guy we're going to talk about, Hunter Henry. Where do you have Hunter Henry this week as far as your tight ends?
He was a waiver wire pickup this week, sort of kind of low end guy. He's just one of those guys that you kind of just hope he gets 40, 60 and a touchdown. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it against this Jets defense. I'm not.
They held George Kittle in check week 1. I don't think they did anything too crazy with.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think did Chig catch a touchdown late? I think in that game, or was that week 1 that he caught that touchdown? Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't think they did anything there. So yeah, he was able to hold Kittle. But I think Hunter is Brissett's number 1 target. We've seen him go 8 catches for 12 yards, put up over 100 yards, 109 yards total. Scored you 22.9 PPR points. Or I guess this is our tight end premium, so a little bit less than that. But yeah, so definitely a nice play. If you had him, if you happen to spot start him last week. And I just given this, landscape of tight end right now, I mean, I probably have him legitimately, top 10.
Really? Yeah. I mean, nobody's panned out so except for
I mean, you said it yourself. He's throwing to a bunch of rookies and, Pop Douglas.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so we'll move on here. Those are pretty much the only other guys I have, guys like Tyler Conklin, Brissett, himself, Pop Douglas. I'm sitting these guys. No one else that I see is too fantasy relevant in this game. Let's just sit back and enjoy, maybe Aaron Rodgers, one of his last go-rounds here. So, enjoy it while it's here. All right. So we will move on here. Again, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button for us. We will get to your question. Let us know if you did subscribe here tonight as well too. We love to hear that. We do have a live Q&A section at the end of the show. Once we get through our trade talk here. But if you do want us to read your question or get to it right away, just let us know and drop us a super chat, and we'll be able to get there right away. So let's get into these injury news topics and updates here. So just, a couple things, a little housekeeping. Tua was placed on IR today along with Pacheco, who had surgery. Sounds like it was pretty successful, but he may not even be back this year. So obviously going to influence a lot of these trades we're going to talk about here. You have, other guys like Marshawn Lloyd going on IR as well. One little bit of positive news actually was Cooper Kupp. Sounded like he was going to, be long-term injury going on IR, but they just listed him as a DNP today. Came to find out, they said no surgery was needed, and there's a chance they might not put him on IR, so he might be expected back before, the minimum 4 games. So something to just kind of keep an eye on. We'll monitor it, throughout the week. I would say weeks to come. I doubt he's playing this weekend. We'll see what happens later. So any quick thoughts on any of that?
I'm just surprised Tua here is just trying to come back like that quick. I think they wanted to give him a couple weeks before they even bring him back out. If I were the guy, I'd retire, honestly. Just for your own family's sake, just for your own health, long term. Football's only football. and you've been paid enough. You know, you should be sitting financially stable that you don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but
Right.
then again, you know, I don't know how they spend their money and things like that. Some guys are fools and go out to buy the bling instead of the house. You know what I'm saying? They spend so much on the bling or a car.
Right.
Like, you better, secure your family and yourself first before you start doing all that.
Yeah, I mean, it did come out already. You know, we talked about it, on Monday. You know, he said, he was in the building. He has no plans to retire at all. He is going to rehab, but, they aren't going to try to rush him back. They're going to give him at least the 4 games and see where they kind of go from there. So, yeah, but
Whoever
like you
Show
said, wish him all the best.
Tua should definitely retire, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, just for your own health. Anyways, that's good.
For sure.
What else?
All right, so we'll run through the rest of these injuries real quick. So just a couple things notable. Again, this is just Monday practice reports, so a lot of vet days, things like that. But a couple things that we felt we should point out to you. Packers quarterback Jordan Love dealing with that knee injury. He did return to practice today on a limited basis, so small chance he does come back this week. With how well Willis played, maybe they can sit him one more week. But Christian Watson and Dobbs and Jaden Reed shares definitely want Love to come back sooner than later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm supposed to go quick, man. You got to stop me when I start doing that. Chargers QB Justin Herbert dealing with that ankle injury, popped up on the injury report. Got a DNP today, so that's something to monitor. Looks like he'll probably be okay, but we'll see what how he comes back tomorrow. You have Seahawks running back Ken Walker still dealing with that abdominal issue. He was a DNP today. Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert dealing with that chest injury. He was back to practice today in a limited fashion. You had Titans running back Tajay Spears left the game early with that ankle injury. He was a DNP today. Another running back, Texans running back Joe Mixon, dealing with that high ankle after that supposed hip drop tackle. He was a DNP today. Texans wide receiver Nico Collins, he popped up with a hit and foot injury after a big game. He was a DNP today. Hopefully it was just more rest because I didn't really see him kind of get banged up during that game. So I'm sure he's fine, but we'll just something to keep your eye on. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel, he was a DNP dealing with that calf injury. Said he was going to be out a couple weeks, at least. And I think someone in the chat up there earlier said something about, what was it? He said he's rehabbing for 2 weeks on his podcast. There you go. Good call, Frank. Good call. So I didn't hear that. That's based on Ravens, but I trust the guy. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, if they expected more, they would have put him on IR as well.
Yeah.
And then you had Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson dealing with that quad issue, left the game, didn't finish. He came back limited today, which is good to see. Looks like he'll be playing. And Jordan Addison dealing with that high ankle still. He was a DNP. They're saying they're not going to rush him back, but he is making a little bit of progress. You have Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown. I'm just basically listing all the guys that were drafted in like the first 2 rounds, just in case you guys know. Yeah.
These are only the top guys that we're worried about. There's so many more, but still. Anyway.
Yeah. And like this doesn't even include CMC and these guys that are already on IR. Puka. It's tough, injuries, man.
Right?
So tough. Eagles wide receiver AJ Brown dealing with that hamstring. He's expected to miss multiple weeks. He was estimated as a DNP. They didn't actually practice today after playing last night. What was it? Monday night. So today's their Tuesday. So Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen dealing with that heel issue still, who didn't play. He was DNP this week. Roma Dunze was practicing though in a limited fashion, so that's good to see. He did play. You have Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was dealing with that weird lower leg soft injury, tissue injury. He practiced in full, so that's good to hear. A little bit of good news.
That's the bright side.
A little bit of positive there, so there we go. But your boy, CeeDee Lamb, popped up, DNP today, dealing with an ankle injury, but they said there's no indication of any concern on their part, so most likely probably a vet day. Just something to monitor, not something you want to see, of course, with the basically the 101 and 102 out. That would be crazy.
Right?
Yeah, I'm talking just fantasy picks overall, the 101 CMC and the 102 CeeDee Lamb, however you had them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson dealing with that knee issue. He returned today in a limited fashion. So it looks like he was pretty close to going this week. And then you have the Browns tight end David Njoku dealing with that high ankle. They're already saying he's unlikely to play as well. So why don't you go ahead and get to that underdog read while I take a drink of water after all those injuries. It's only week 2, guys. It's only week 2. Let me get some water.
Wow, people were going down like crazy. So you guys know, we got Underdog Fantasy. They are our promo. They are our promo. They are supporters here of the show, and they're the easiest play to play fantasy sports. We enjoy their best ball draft tournaments. So if you followed us in early preseason here, we were doing all kinds of best ball drafts with them. Easy, so you just set it, forget it. No waiver wire, no trades, no weekly lineup setting. But right now we're doing the pick'ems contest where you simply pick higher, lower on players and stats like total yards and touchdowns and things like that. You stack them up, and then you can even just win even more. Again, right now they're doing a sign up special, so use our promo code GetRight, and you will receive a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 bonus cash. You got to check them out. I think they're just still doing the CD Lamb promo right now. I remember seeing it come up. So you got to check them out. Go over there, underdogfantasy.com, download the app. It's awesome. I mean, I like them. I continue to play over there. I've been doing all my best balls there, and the pick'ems during the season now. So it's great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man. So let's keep the show rolling. Well done there. Again, thank you guys to Underdog, man. We appreciate the sponsorship and making this all happen. So let's get into our trade philosophy and tips section here. Something I sprung on Frank last week that I thought of. Let's just throw one little kind of discussion as far as trade goes. Out there. Last week we talked about what are your thoughts on buying injured players or trading for injured players. So this week, I wanted to get your thoughts, and we can discuss here real quickly your thoughts on, we always want to buy low, right, and sell high. Yeah. That's just kind of us as salespeople. Yeah. In general, that's just kind of how we were, brought up. But when are the right times, or is it right, or should you ever buy high or sell low? Like, what are kind of your thoughts on, if and when it's appropriate to do something like that?
I think you got to take your shot sometimes. I think it's easier on a team that it's kind of stacked if you approach that team that has those guys, so that when you take that guy and you're trying to offer somebody, they're not going to sit there and look at the rest of the team like, that's my guy, like he's holding down my fort. So you got to look for teams that are have 3-4 wide receivers, and he's got a couple extra ones out on the bench that if he's not going to skip a step, basically, because it's hard to take that top guy from somebody. I mean, everybody wants to go after CMC right now because he's hurt, and now he's got on IR, and then it may be even longer than this. So he's certainly a buy low option on him. But
I would consider that as sell low, right?
Yeah, and buy low.
So that's your sell low. Yeah. Like, so perfect example. So let me reset it for you. So someone like CMC, perfect example. Obviously, at this point, if you're going to sell them, you're selling low. So is this an appropriate time to kind of sell low the guy we took as the 101? And we know when he's healthy, he's basically a lock, when he's full go for 25 points a week or more, right? And has the ceiling to, hit those 30, 40 point weeks as well. But basically a walking 22 points, for sure. So do you sell low on someone like that with the possibility of him dealing with this type of injury that he may not come back? And we've literally seen him do this before. So do you just sell for someone that you can get? Do you take a J.K. Dobbins? Do you take a Brian Robinson? Do you take, someone like this, a Ken Walker, a Travis Etienne? Do you try to sell someone like that and just settle because at least you have somebody to put in your lineup now, without the guaranteed time he's already, missed for you? Or do you, kind of just are your thoughts or just don't sell low and go down with the ship?
I say in this case, I would because first of all, they weren't really announcing his injury, and then it became so much serious that he went on IR, and then like now the rumor mill is that he might be missing more time than just the IR. That alone kind of scares me. It's like, what's really going on with him, right? You know what I mean? And he's had that injury bug before. He got shook it, last 2 years, but before that, he was like coming in, injured to San Francisco, I believe, right? Like he came over to San Francisco off an injury or whatever. So I would move on him because he is your number one. It's most people took him as their first pick, the first guy, right? So then they had to wait in 24 picks, 10, 20 picks before they got another guy. And you probably don't have the depth for that. You know what I mean? You don't, because it took so long to get those other players, right? And this
And
guy
maybe
being
now
the
you've
top
already
guy.
suffered a second significant injury,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And if you're not, if you didn't get to lock in Jordan Mason, you definitely got to move on him. You definitely just got to, if you're trying to save your season, unless you're just like, oh, we're just going down with the ship, right? At this point,
Okay.
and then if he doesn't come back in week 4, you're going down with the ship, because after 4 weeks, you're probably 4 losses in a row, probably, maybe you're not going to get 5 or 6 losses and be able to get into the playoffs. It's just not going to
Unless
happen.
you hit with those late picks, unless you did
Yeah.
hit a Brian Robinson or a J.K. Dobbins or, someone like that late, and Alvin Kamara, maybe you picked as your RB2, a few rounds later.
I gotta give
So
props to one of my I think it was my nephew that we were in the draft. He got the number 1 pick. He did take CMC, and then he drafted 3 running backs in a row. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I had the opposite. I had 3 wide receivers in a row. And remember I told you, I said, this
Oh,
is going
yeah.
to be an interesting experiment, and we'll see how it works out in the season. Well, it's working out for him, because he did basically stack up his running back room off early, and there was plenty of wide receivers out there to be had anyways this season. And hopefully, those aren't injured as well, because obviously we just read 20-something guys on that list of,
yeah, but a
injured
lot of those
too.
guys were the top round guys who he
Yes.
was taking running backs at
Yeah.
in those ranges, so he avoided that.
Probably avoided
So
all
he's
those
he's
guys.
sitting with the guys that are the Chris Godwins
Playing,
and guys like that who are actually putting up points. So
yeah. I really
so
think
yeah,
this year would have been nice to do a double hero RB situation. You know what I mean? Because it's looking
Yeah.
like that was the way to go at this point. But
we'll see.
yeah, I think there's always an opportunity to buy high. You sometimes you just got to go for the gusto, especially if you're in a position where you can sell some other pieces off to just improve your starting lineup and maybe make a run for it. You want to get those wins in, sit pretty, so that you're gonna have an awful, maybe one of those buy NATO weeks where everybody's on there, but it's just one loss. Then you can just take that L, and then move on with the wins the rest of the way, instead of just like kind of struggling the whole way through, trying to waiver wire it up, and it's not going to work out for you. You might as well trade for the best guy that you can get, and take your shot. That's sometimes you just got to do that.
Right. And and I like how you said that too. And that's what I was, going to say is, when is that right time to buy high? When someone is on the ascend, if there's still, more room for improvement, maybe it is worth, paying that pick, especially if you're willing to sell low on someone. Again, Jamar Chase is kind of one of those examples. Do you trade a Jamar Chase for a Malik Nabers, or London for Nabers if you're in that camp? So
I think the perfect example is last year's Puka Nacua that you actually traded away, and you're like, he had that like one off week, and you're like, ooh, I'm at it. I gotta maybe shake this guy off real quick.
yeah, traded him for Justin Jefferson.
Sell him as high as I can. But the dude kept rising. The dude kept, he rose to the occasion, had a breakout season for himself there.
Right.
And sometimes you got to go for those guys and get that guy.
Right. And that was almost like that CMC, kind of thing. Do you kind of sell low? Obviously, Justin Jefferson wouldn't go for a guy you picked up off the waiver wire, but he did. And it worked out. It produced. And then when Jefferson came, it worked out for the both of us, really.
Yeah.
So it helped him put points on his lineup. And, I took actually a little bit of a hit early, but I had the depth to make up for it. And then I was able to get that injection of JJ at the end of the year, and took home a championship for it. So not that wasn't the reason, but just happened to work out that way. So good stuff. So I like doing that segment, man. It really gets us thinking on just some of these. So I'll try to, we'll see if I can come up with like 15 or 16, 17 different ones of these. I guess trade deadline's like week 13 or 14, right? So I only need to come up with a couple more of these. Maybe I should have thought them all out before, but I'm sure I could come up with at least a handful more. So let us know if you guys like that little segment there. If you have any questions that you want to be for me and Frank to discuss here on trade philosophy and tips, drop them in the chat. Let us know, and maybe we'll work it into a future episode. All right, so let's get to what we've. What's that?
I said they got a couple of trades in here too in the chat. I got to go through them. We'll get to them.
Yeah. So we'll get in those. Anyone who's new, who's watching, or just tuning in, if you do have questions, we will be doing live Q&A. just drop your question down there in the chat. We will scroll back up to the top and hit as many questions as we can. If you do want your question just read right away, you can throw us a super chat. I think it's little as like $1 or however much more you feel to be generous and get your chat read immediately. We'll do that as well too. So let's get into it, man. Without any further ado, we have Frank's top 3 trade targets here heading into week 3. So Frank, regardless of position, who is someone that you are looking to buy low on right now? Who's your buy low target?
Sam LaPorta is somebody that I would be looking at. I think he had like a little lingering issue there. And, with that being said, he's just not performing at where you were drafting him at. And so I think it's just better days ahead for him. And, you can just feel that it's going to come. It's just that some people just, you just don't have the time to wait around for this to develop, and you don't want to develop. You're drafting him third, fourth round. You needed more out of this guy. So sometimes you just can't wait around it. But I think the snap share is coming around, and I think that they're going to be scoring more over there. So, think better days ahead for him. But I mean, you could definitely go after him. You could it's definitely a buy low candidate.
For sure. Well said. Currently sitting at the tight end, 16 overall. Only has not that many points for the regular season. Right now, sitting at only 11.8 points. No touchdowns. Not looking too good for our guy here.
Give me 1 second.
But there could be, could be more to come. So yeah. So Frank has to go here real quick. We'll switch over. There you go. And we will just switch over to Rasta, top 3 trade targets. So some of the trade targets I have here, we'll talk about my first buy low candidate. You've heard me talk about it, I think, on the last episode, but it's going to be Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase, not off to a great start. We saw the blow up, happen over this weekend. Only 4 catches for 35 yards. I'm sure there's some, frustration there against, Kansas City, of course, with what he had to say, leading up to the game. Was coming off 6 catch on 6 targets for only 62 yards. Hasn't found the end zone yet. Hasn't had a chance to gritty. I'm sure he's been working on some new gritties that he wants to get out of there. Has the best matchup he's going to get coming up here against this Washington defense, who's just been a sieve for the quarterback and wide receiver position here, especially this year and in seasons past. So if there's a get right game to be done, if there's a chance to buy low, and this is what I was telling you guys week 1 about Marvin Harrison Jr., except for the fact that with this guy, we've seen him put up 40 and 50 point games in the same offense with the same quarterback, the same coach. So it's there. You're going to have, he's not just going to put up 40 points a game every game. He is kind of one of those boomer busts. He usually has a better floor than this. But for me, if you can go get Ja'Marr Chase, I'm going to get him. If you had, anyone in that second round that is, kind of producing well, or a package you can possibly put together with a running back and a receiver, to tier up and get Ja'Marr Chase, I highly advise it. It may, obviously, with any of these trades, it may not work out. There's always that side of it. But if I'm going to put my eggs in a basket, it's going to be in a guy that I've seen that can hit the type of ceiling. T. Higgins coming back should help open up the offense as well, and maybe not allow them to roll so much coverage to him, giving them another legit passing option, because literally not even the running backs are even relevant in this backfield. So I'll stop rambling. That's my rant on Ja'Marr Chase. I think you got to go get him. So Frank, just make sure you're not muted anymore when you come back in. So what do you think here about Ja'Marr Chase?
Think about that. I agree with you. You've seen Burrow have a get right game last week, and things are kind of getting better. He's knocking off that rust, that whole training, not being in training camp and holding out. All that's, behind him now. I think there's better days ahead. So if you have an opportunity, this is the week. This is literally the week, because he might be next week. He might just go off.
He'll be untradeable again.
And then it just, exactly. And then you have to buy high. You have to go right back. So you got
or he's just not even someone will even be traded after that.
Yeah, exactly. You got a small window opportunity to go for these guys. So do it.
Has to be a risk you're willing to take.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll go back to yours. We'll just kind of alternate. Maybe that'll work out a little better. So let's go to your number 2 trade target here heading into week 3.
A buy low trade target?
Yes.
I would say Tank Dell.
Okay.
His numbers haven't been great yet, and it's going to get there. You just got to be patient. Houston has a really good offense. He had one reception, 4 targets, negative yardage last week. But he's not that guy. He's better than that. And this is an opportunity for you to go after that. Owner of him, and he is 95% owned, 94% owned on everywhere. Probably started everywhere. You know what I mean? So you might have cost somebody a game or two. So you want to be able to go get him. I think it's going to get it turned around over there. Houston's a good offense. They're high powered. Once they get rolling, if things get right, things are moving right along. So that's what I would be targeting.
Yeah. And the good thing is, he has, 11 targets so far through, through 2 games. Only 37 yards, was missed on at least 2 touchdowns that I saw watching the games. The other thing I like to see is he has already 5 carries for 35 yards. So they're designing ways to get him involved. So I really like this. He was actually someone I was considering on my list. So I'm glad you brought him up. As you can see, I kind of had the stats at the ready because he was definitely a guy I was thinking of. Sitting as your wide receiver 68 overall in PPR right now. I think if you buy him at that price or even, twice that price, you'll be able to, benefit. I think will outproduce, wide receiver 68 by the time this thing's said and done. And he'll probably win you a week or 2 by the time we're done as well. So well done. Well done. So we'll go to my number 2 buy low candidate right now. And I'm going to go with Mike Evans. Mike Evans coming off of what you would say a lackluster performance after a 5 catch, 61 yard and 2 touchdown game for only 3 receptions for 42 yards on the same 6 targets. Some people might be thinking, oh, he's old, is going up against Detroit, who has a pretty stingy, secondary, a good offensive line. Obviously, Baker was under duress, sacked 5 times just by 5 or 6 times just by Aiden Hutchinson himself. And obviously where Evans makes his damages down the field. So he didn't have time to get those big plays with someone like Hutchinson. They go up against Denver this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 102 touchdowns. But of course it is Pat Surtain. So maybe there's one more opportunity here, but then he gets Philly, who has been, giving up points to the wide receiver position so far, and then at Atlanta. And then we all waiting for the week 6 matchup with Marcus Lattimore. Hopefully he's healthy by then in New Orleans. With the way the Saints are playing, this could be an epic clash, a battle I always enjoy watching, Lattimore and Evans. So I'm going to get Evans, man, if I can get him and buy him pretty low. And he's not really one of those sexy guys. He is older. So I think he's obtainable right now. What do you think about Evans?
He's always been one of my guys. I think I brought up his stats a couple years back, man. And I think I sold you guys on him. I was like, dude, it didn't matter who was throwing at this guy. This guy always produced. He was almost quarterback proof. And even throughout the years now that he's getting a little older, he still, shines through. He gets it done. I'd be happy to have him on my team if I didn't draft him already. Like you're saying, you have an opportunity right now to get him a little bit low. His counterpart did have a really good game. It's an opportunity to be able to pick him up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the more Godwin's a threat underneath, they're going to have to bring those safeties up a little bit more, and it's going to just allow for those big plays to Mike Evans down the field, and we know he can make a contested catch at 6'5". So he's been doing it his whole career, which is hilarious because I just got done, of course, watching the league, as I always do, heading into the season in August, and Mike Evans was a baby. He was a rookie in that season where he was a guest on there. He was at the Combine. With Kevin running the combine drills.
I gotta rewatch.
Yeah, man, it's so good, man. So yeah, so shout out to Mike Evans, man. All right, so let's get to your buy low candidate number 3.
number 3 would be Dionte Johnson over there with Carolina. Now we got
Okay, Frank.
Rockin' shooting over there. I think he's very sneaky pick.
I said buy low, not like that's just a guy who's on waiver wire targets right now.
You're picking him up. You're buying on the fact that he's going to be somebody. You know what I mean?
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, Red Rocket over there. He might start firing it up. He can revive this guy's fantasy numbers. You know what I mean? He's had 12 targets, 6 and 6 last 2 games. That could improve. The yardage could improve, and probably could get you touchdowns. So just a sneaky guy to go grab. I mean, people may or may not have had him, but I think you could left and look at him. And I'll just throw you a bone on there. Another guy that I personally have that has been killing me is Kelsey. It's going to get straight over there. Don't worry about that. Yeah, exactly. Mahomes and company will get, figure their stuff out. It's just it happened last year when he was off. They just weren't getting, they weren't there yet. I mean, but we've seen it in the preseason with the behind the back pass and this and that they get over to Kelsey. I wouldn't panic, but I mean, you could definitely go get some Kelsey right now. People are probably just tripping out on this guy. So, get the top tight end that you can. Why not? I mean, all these like basically.
I was going to say just kind of target any of those top 4 or 5 guys. McBride's my favorite. A
little bit, you know what I mean? But because Isaiah Likely disappeared all of a sudden. We had that 1 week of like, oh, go get Isaiah Likely, and then spoof.
Good old overreaction week 1. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Overreaction Monday right there. We were just like, go get him. Next, kapoosh.
Right. So there you go. All right. Good stuff, man. That's a good top 3, man. So recap them for us. We have Sam LaPorta. We had who else?
You had to look at me. We had Sam LaPorta first. Tank Dell.
That's right. And then Dionte Johnson. Good stuff. All right. So we'll switch over here to my third trade target that I'm looking to get. And I'll go with the guy that's in the thumbnail himself, Mr. Rachaad White, dealing with a little bit of an injury right now. Didn't quite have the big name. People, I think, might have been kind of looking to trade him almost kind of already without the efficiency numbers. Everyone talking about Bucky. Bucky Irving coming in and potentially taking his job. But especially in full PPR leagues, man, which I'm sure the majority of us play, I'm going to get this guy. I think he's a solid RB2. If I can, trade, someone for him, again, someone like Zamir White and, Christian Kirk or something like that, to go get Rachaad White, then I would do that. I think, just those PPR numbers, we got to remember, Baker Mayfield still is the check down king. We saw it happen in game 1. He's not going to get 7 catches every game. But he will average 4 to 5 catches. And be in that, 60 plus receptions by the end of the year. Rachaad White, go buy low if you can.
And he's not afraid. Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
I'm worried about him, but hey, he is a candidate. You can get him. He has produced. He produced last year sneakily enough, and I think you're right. He is a check down king over there with Mayfield. So you got opportunities.
Yeah, and it was 6 catches. I apologize, guys.
6. It was 6,
Somebody else had 7, and I forgot who it was who had 7 week 1. Anyway,
6 or 6 though. So
so it was nice for 75 yards. Maybe that was where I was getting the 7 from.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to our sell highs. So who do you have as your number 1 sell high candidate right now?
This might sound crazy, but J.K. Dobbins, man. I don't think he can hold it up for that long. We've known this guy to, he's doing really well. I mean, I like him. He's looking good. But he's always had that injury bug, and when's he going to break down? Like, How long is this going to last? And he's in that muddled backfield, Gus, and you got the new guy over there. And, Kamani Vidal, I think.
What's up, Solo Cup? Welcome back.
They're just trying to get him over there. But I'd sell J.K. Dobbins right now if I could. If I have him, move on him, or maybe ride the high till you can, until the wheels fall off, because the wheels are going to fall off at some point. You know what I mean?
For sure. No, I like that. That's a good one there. I'll go with we'll switch it over here, just for the sake of time. I already had it on mine. I forgot to switch it to you. Oh well, we're all messed up on those. But either way. We're going to go with Brock Bowers. I'll stick with the thumbnail. Go with Brock Bowers. Currently, you're tied into overall. Hasn't scored a touchdown, which is what I worry about. But I think, I think it's there. Obviously, that's why you're selling high. I'm not just selling them low, right? But if I can use Brock Bowers to get to, someone like you said, maybe Kelsey. I'm personally not a Kelsey guy this year. Personally, for me, it's McBride. If I could turn Brock Bowers into McBride, get someone who's basically in the same situation, behind an alpha number one like Devontae Adams, a la, Marvin Harrison Jr. Not saying they're the same guy or anything like that. Calm down. But I'm just saying this similar situation. And then that tight end is the number 2 target getter and probably the best next talent on that team. Like McBride, I just think Kyler Murray is way better than anyone that the Raiders are throwing out there right now. And their defense isn't great. Raiders defense looks to be a little sturdy, especially with Mason Crosby there. So they're a little stingy when it comes to that. So, for fantasy, you love the guys who have high-powered offenses and terrible defenses so that they're in constant shootouts and not just in drain the clock mode. So, so if I can get, turn someone like Brock Bowers into McBride, I'm doing it. But I'm not turning him into like Jake Ferguson and, Rashid Shaheed. Like, don't do something like that. So who's your number 2 sell high candidate?
I'm looking at Zach Moss in Cincinnati. We kind of drafted him and thinking, okay, he's going to be the lead back for a little while, but then, we got Chase that's going to be coming up behind him. It hasn't happened yet, but I think eventually it will. The targets will start, going back to what we thought. Chase Brown was just catching out of the backfield and doing all kinds of stuff. So I think that it's a good time to sell high on him while he has some value still, and hopefully get a good top wide receiver or something, and move on from him while you can. I like him, but if you have to stick with them, maybe you do. But I think that eventually it would turn to Chase Brown.
Okay. I think we saw someone that traded Moss for someone in the chat, so we'll probably get to that a little later. That's who you said, right, Moss?
Yeah, Chase.
Yeah,
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. All right, good stuff. All right, so I like that call there. I'd like to sell high on him as well because, of course, I was a Chase Brown, so I hope everything you said does come true. I have a lot of shares of Chase Brown.
Yeah, I got a lot of Chase Brown myself.
I like that. I
got 1 or 2 shares of Zach Moss just in case, because I did like him. I remember, I think I even touted his horn, and you were like, "No, it's gonna be Chase Brown." He catches up back, and he did. He had some flashes last season, but I was like, "This guy's gonna start." But let's see how long he can hold that position.
Right. For sure. All right. So my number 2 sell high candidate this week is going to be Calvin Ridley. Coming off
my list too.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm stealing this one from you. So I have Calvin Ridley, man, comes off a 4-catch, 77-yard, 1 touchdown, a little fluky touchdown, but it did happen. I'm not going to take it away from him. But he saw 1 less target even with, of course, DeAndre Hopkins playing a couple more snaps now, working his way back from injury. He did go crazy, of course, scoring those 24.7 points. So if I can parlay that, package him with somebody else, and move off of him and tier up to one of those, receivers, maybe a Drake London, who I think have better days ahead that you might be able to buy low on, Chris Olave, someone in that type of range, maybe even a Jalen Reed with Love coming back. I just would want somebody just in a better offense. I don't believe in Will Levis right now. I think he still needs more time to develop. So Calvin Ridley, I have as my sell high candidate for week 3. Go right ahead. Who's your number 3?
Number 3 would be Stefon Diggs, man. He just, his 5.4 yard average of the target, and first 2 weeks here, and just a crowded backfield that he's in there with. I just don't see him holding out for too much longer there in Houston. Again, I was trying to buy on Tank Dell, and it just, he's the older statesman there per se. And obviously he got traded for a reason or whatnot. So eventually, I think as the season goes on, the years will catch up to him, and any of these younger guys will start, shining. So, I think you could, move on him while you can. and get some good pieces for yourself while you can.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good take. And I'll just say real quick, Steph Diggs, that's the reason. It's exactly what we said. What happens if those 6 catches for 33 yards don't go for 2 touchdowns? This is what you're going to get. 7.7 points on 4 catches on 6 targets for 37 yards. He actually got more yards this week, just didn't score the 2 touchdowns on those 5 extra yards.
Basically nothing at this point. Yeah.
Right. Had a higher yards per target at, 6.17, 9.25 yards per catch, but it wasn't in the end zone and he wasn't looked there. So those are going to be the ups and downs, with Steph Diggs and kind of what we expected here, until there's maybe an injury in that wide receiver room for, one of those guys to not be in the, in the rotation. Might be the time, we see either Diggs or Diggs or Dell, emerge. But I just think Collins is the alpha there. And he's the man. I'm real big on Collins. So if we were doing a buy high segment, like he would be in the buy high segment, like go get Nico Collins, man. He's good at football. All right. So let's see. Who do we have? My number 3 trade target here is going to be, I'm going to go with a little controversial take here. I'm going to stick to the brand, and I'll probably get roasted for this by the end of the year, but I'm going to stick with it. I just don't believe in the offense. And I know everyone's going to say it. Don't say it, Anthony. I'm going to say Malik Nabers. I know Tycoon, if he's watching, just slapped his head. I know Kendall's fallen out of his chair probably. And I even think Phil, the guy who basically he and I share the same brain, I think he even is going, Anthony, what the hell are you talking about? And I mean, I can't argue with the target share that he had of 64%. We all said this, but it's coming from Daniel Jones. We all know 1,000 times 0 is still 0, right? It doesn't matter.
That's what I look at it, dude. Thank you for saying it. Thank you.
I'm just saying, man.
So I'll say it again. I said it last year, I think. All the Giants players from Barkley. And then Barkley left, and I'm like, well, that's it. I mean, what do you got?
Yeah. So, if you can parlay these 10 catches on 18 targets, playing less, only 89% of the snaps instead of 100 that he played week 1. But, going for $127, which wasn't very efficient. And just scoring that touchdown. Again, this was against Washington. The only highlights we've seen against this guy have been against the Giants defense in preseason. We saw a ton of highlights there going up against that defense, which anyone can do. Yeah, and then we saw it against Washington. That's it. Every other time we've seen him do anything, he hasn't done anything really. So, he gets Cleveland next week, right? Tough defense. Then he gets Dallas going up against Diggs. That's a tough defense, right? Then he gets Seattle. They've been playing a little tough. Cincinnati by week 6 should probably be firing all cylinders. Then he gets Philly. They might give it up, and he gets Pittsburgh, and then he gets Washington again in week 9, and then Carolina, and then a bye, and then Bucks, Dallas. I mean, I'm just running through the whole thing, but it's the schedule's not really in his favor. So if you can sell high right now and churn Nabers into Jamar Chase, I'm doing that. I'm taking that chance.
Here saying, how many games is Daniel Jones throwing 2 touchdowns? That's the point right there. Yeah. Literally. Dude threw
19 touchdowns. I think again, remember what was the stat? He's throwing more touchdowns to opposing teams than he has his own team since he signed his contract. And I'm sorry, Classic Mike. I'm sorry to be ragging on your team like this. I honestly don't mean it. I'm just saying, I just feel so firmly about this. I'm not doubting this man's talent. I think he has the talent, and I understand some guys are quarterback proof, but some quarterbacks just are not that. And even Classic knows he's not that guy. We'll see if he can keep this up and keep it going. And if it is, then of course I stand corrected. That's fine. But if I have the opportunity to turn him into a Jamar Chase and possibly something, maybe, if that person's really panicking on Jamar Chase, then I'm going to take that opportunity 100 times out of 10. So that'll be my rant for I saved him for the end. Right, there we go. For my sell high candidate. All right. So what else have we got going on here? So we'll just quickly get through our buy, sell, hold segment here. So we're just going to run through some of the top traded players so far here this week. And then we'll go through and just say, are we going to buy, sell, or hold? We don't need a whole explanation. It's just going to be, rapid fire. And then we'll get to your guys' questions. I see the chat blowing up. So maybe I just struck a nerve there with that take. I see like 30 comments right now. So I'm a little scared to click over there and see what that says. But yeah, so we'll get to that here. So let's get to buy, sell, hold. Frank, I'm just going to run down some guys here. Let's talk about the San Francisco backfield. Jordan Mason, buy, sell, or hold?
I'm holding on that guy.
All
just
right.
because of the injuries with CMC.
All right, CMC. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Buy, sell, or hold CMC?
I'm selling CMC. If
All right.
I were the owner, I'm just too scared.
right.
You invested too much in the guy. Get what you can while you can.
Absolutely. All right. So Tony Pollard, buy, sell, or hold on Tony Pollard?
I mean, I'm thinking selling right at this point. I was never sold on him. I knew
Never
that.
sold?
Yeah.
Tajay Spears dealing with this ankle injury. He took more of the shares. If I can get him at a good price, a decent price with this, given the state of running back position at the moment, I might take a stab at him. So I kind of have him more as a hold / buy.
Okay.
Only because I didn't draft any of them, so I would only really be in the buy category. All right, so Chris Olave, kind of mentioned him here this show, but Chris Olave, buy, sell, or hold?
I would hold on.
Okay, I'm a hold too.
New Orleans is doing some things over there. Eventually, he's going to get a piece of that, right?
For sure. Buy, sell, or hold Xavier Worthy?
I'm holding.
Okay.
Just because of this, again, the running back situation over there, right?
Mhm.
He might have to start flinging it all over again. I like what I seen in week 1. He got those 2 touchdowns right off the bat. I think, again, he's a rookie. You got to let him develop. Moving on.
Boomer bust on top of that. Jerome Ford, buy, sell, or hold after a kind of down game and Foreman coming in.
Yeah, that's rough. And got another guy coming back later on after injury. I'm gonna sell if you can. I don't think you could hold on to him anywhere.
All right.
I'm
Buy,
stuck with
sell,
him
or
right now, so I'm like, I gotta ride with him.
right there we go. A couple more. Buy, sell, or hold Drake London.
Oh, I'd hold Drake London. Also another guy that's you gotta wait, let him develop.
I'm gonna hold or buy. I like what I've seen, the progression. I think they can bring it together. Buy, sell, or hold Jamison Williams.
Oh, you're buying Jamo. I should have kept that guy.
Kind of like a buy high. You should have had him on your buy high list on that one. I definitely have him as a sell. Again, if I can turn him into someone like Jamar Chase, I absolutely would. If I have him though,
season, though,
I'm
man.
down hold to hold him.
Showing all kinds of stuff now.
He's going to be the one.
He's just not that deep threat anymore.
Yeah.
He's got more in his arsenal now.
Amon-Ra is not a ex wide receiver. Jamison Williams is.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can coexist, and it could be nasty. We just need Goff to get his shit together. All right, so buy, sell, or hold Travis Etienne, and this Jaguars offense sputtering. What's going on? Still good usage. Little banged up.
Hard one, man.
Buy, sell, or hold Travis Etienne.
That's a hard one. I'd probably sell, man. If you could get a good game out of him. How long is this experiment going to happen over there? Is it going to be Red Rocket? Is the guy coming back? I don't know. I'd just move on if I can. You know what I mean? If you can get some, I had him last year, a really reliable running back, but I'm not sure if that's the case this year.
All right, buy, sell, or hold DK Metcalf coming off a big game, big touchdowns. Is this a sign of things to come, or was just this an aberration game, or a couple? DK's good for a couple of these a year.
I think that's what the case is. He's good for a couple of these a year. And I think we know what he is at this point, and I think that he's one of those players you just kind of throwing in with the trade. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, let's add him on there, and then he kind of gets that thing over the hump.
All right. Last one I'll say here: buy, sell, or trade Zay Flowers.
He's been pretty good this year, man. But I would buy. I think he's the only.
Or buy, sell, or hold. I kept saying buy, sell, or trade, but you know what I meant.
Yeah. I'd hold him. Or
I wasn't giving you
man.
the option.
Zay's, he's going to be the one guy. He's literally the only guy. But Bateman ain't doing it, so he's got to have one guy. Mark Andrews finally had a decent game, but I would say Zay Flowers is going to be the guy.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so that'll conclude buy, sell, or hold. We could probably literally go through the entire league and do that. It's real fun.
Yeah, Ravens
But
says Zay is the Ravens offense at this point.
oh yeah, don't say
pretty
anything
much.
bad about the Ravens with Ravens show yo in
I'm a
here.
Cowboys
All
fan
right.
here. We're about to see some stuff.
All right, for sure. All right, so let's do it. What you guys have been waiting for.
Let's go.
Let's get to our live Q&A. We're gonna scroll back up to the top. I'm scared to see what happened. So Frank, you go, I'll go, and we'll kind of get through as many of these as we can. So well done getting the show done by the hour mark, though.
Yeah, right.
Well done. All right,
let's
so let's see what we got. First question I have.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so you look for the next one while I read this one off. All right, so would you trade Ramondre Stevenson and Amari Cooper or Waddle for Garrett Wilson and Zamir White? So Ramondre Stevenson with either Cooper or Waddle for Garrett Wilson and Zamir White.
Would I trade for this? I think you're high on Zamir White, or not?
No, I'm not.
Not the other. You're the other one, right? The other White.
Yeah, if it was Rachaad White, yeah.
Stevenson and Cooper. Waddle, I would move on.
All right, I'm not downgrading. Like, I still think there's better things to come from Cooper, especially if Winston eventually starts starting, depending on how this Deshaun Watson litigation goes and or just bad play, so to speak, goes. Waddle, yeah, we've seen him kind of not produce as much, not worried about so much as Tyreek Hill. Usually Waddle's production is what drops when Tua's not there. You're kind of buying low on Garrett Wilson there as well. So really it's kind of like Stevenson. I'm just not big on Zamir White. So like I would take this trade if it was Brian Robinson, if it was, Jordan, maybe Mason, like maybe even like Ty Chandler. Like I might even take it for Ty Chandler if you're really not happy with, those wide receivers. And I assume Ramondre Stevenson's probably your RB3. So if that's the case, I would just look for almost any other running back in that same kind of range as Zamir White. Just I can't do Zamir White. So you got another one. Appreciate it, Camden. If you got any more questions, of course, drop them.
We got Jacob Kelly here. He said, "Did I mess up? Trader's remorse. JT/JK for Chase. I have Burrow, so I am double dipping points." So he
creates the stack.
JK and Dobbins and JT for Chase. So he gave up two good running backs there.
Yeah, the only issue I have with this, so I don't have an issue with the trade per se, because you drafted JK late. He hit. We already talked about, is he going to stand it up? Again, if you're going to trade him, you're getting into a top 5 or 7 pick, right? Like, so the thought process is correct. You took your second round pick and package that with like your 10th round pick or even worse, and then got a first round pick, right? So assuming you still have your number 1 pick on this team, you're creating, and then like you said, the stack with Burrow. So you're just kind of going all in on that Burrow Chase. I have a ton of that stack, so I might be biased, which is why I'm kind of going a little bit rambling here, Jacob. But I think it's the right thought process. My only thing again is I want some type of running back after giving up 2 running backs. It needs to be someone way less. Again, Ty Chandler, Bucky Irving, even Rico Dowdle. Like, you just want someone back, like at that running back position, to where if you're like in a situation on a bye week or something, you just need to throw a running back in there. You have someone that's not even playing or getting any kind of significant snaps. Like, grab a guy that at least in full PPR you can throw in there at your RB2 for a week and just kind of hope and pray he scores a touchdown or gets 3 or 4 catches, right? And some yardage to go with it, and hopefully get you 10 points, maybe even 8 or 9. You'll be happy with, because the thought process is Chase is going to make up that difference on that week. So I like it personally. I've kind of went on so long. Did you even answer this already, or did I just over talk you there?
I think you hit the nail on the head by saying you should have got at least some piece back, something, a low end running back with that trade. But I mean, at the end of the day, if Chase goes off and you have Burrow, you're getting that stack, you'll be fine. You'll be happy with it. It's just obviously right now you're stressing on it. Yeah,
and you can look for the next question while I do this.
Got one right here.
Okay, so just last thing I want to say about this too is like our boy Kendall from the Fantasy Football Tavern likes to say, when you're doing a 2-for-1 trade like this, opening up that roster spot is just as important as well too. And whoever you pick up with that is part of that trade as well. So it's not just Chase that you're getting. It could also be Carson Steele, Samaje Perine. It could be one of these waiver guys, that we talked about here on Monday. So again, it's not just Chase that you're getting. That open roster spot is sometimes valuable as well too.
Exactly. So we
All
got Nino Pena. He understood the product. I forgot it. I had it on the tip of the tongue. But anyways, he knew what was going on. He's dropping it in now. Knew that we're going to answer these questions later. Just traded Ramondre Steven for Henry. Any thoughts?
I assume that's Derrick Henry and not Hunter Henry, who I think we were talking about when this chat came in. Because at first I was like, what is he thinking?
Yeah,
I mean, Henry's good and all. Is this super TEP or what? But yeah, I mean, I don't mind that trade at all. You're kind of buying a little low on Henry. I think, I heard Lamar's had like the most, back-to-back 260 plus yard passing games, plus over 80 yards rushing in these 2 games. Like, he's off to like almost another MVP type, season, just almost under the radar too. I don't think nobody even really realizes what he's doing. Like, he is their entire offense right now, and that's why they're 0-2. They need someone to come along with them, and I think obviously their big piece is Derrick Henry. He's not enough. Yeah, I mean, it's not enough. So they need to get Derrick Henry involved more to open up that play action pass for Zay Flowers, for Andrews to hit those seams, really take advantage of those defenses and put those linebackers in tough situations and force them to maybe go man where Bateman can then win on the outside. So I like this trade here. Kind of tearing up from Ramondre to Henry, just getting a piece of a better offense. And redraft, I don't mind it at all.
I like Henry though. Ramondre, he's been like the only workhorse running back for New England and who knows how long.
Right. And only New England player I'd even remotely consider playing.
Yeah. And that's kind of like
besides
why
Henry,
I do like
actually,
it.
I take it back.
Because the guy's been doing it. There's a guy that I passed up though here, Chandler Castellano, maybe new to the show or whatever. We do start sits on Fridays and things like that. But I just wanted to come back to you. I didn't want to skip you and just know that Nino Pena.
Yeah, car for me. I'll just answer you really quick. Car for me.
And
no Debo. Give me car.
Same for me. No Debo. No CMC. He's been running the ball. This is just rough over there for San Francisco right now.
There you go.
Got the next one?
Yeah. Ravens is asking Brock Bowers tight end 1 this year. He's like tight end 2, but I think he'll probably finish at least tight end 6 with the type of targets he's getting.
He's gonna get,
yeah, awesome. Let's see. Oh, he gave us his team after that, but
yeah, I'm trying to go through here and get to the questions because they're having a good discussion, guys.
Question.
Hey, we don't mind. Hey, get in there. Here's a start sit one here from Bulldogs 15 Ray. Stroud or Baker Mayfield on a start sit.
I like Baker a lot, but how do you not play Stroud right now? Like, he's pretty safe. I think they're both real safe right now, but I think you start your stud. It's too early to get cute. If you had someone maybe like Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, or someone like that who was struggling, Caleb Williams, who I'm starting Baker over this week. But yeah, I still can't do it. I'm putting, CJ Stroud at any moment with his weaponry could have a 5 touchdown game, and you don't want to miss out on that.
It's not that dangerous. I would definitely start CJ
Stroud. That should be a shootout.
Don't get cute.
That should be a nice shootout. All right. Let's see. You got another one?
Here, Adrian Mesa just got Lamb for Kyron and Tank Dell with the W trade. With the trade? Tank Dell with the trade.
Oh, for sure. Well done.
Yeah, that's not.
Anytime you're getting CD Lamb, you won.
Yeah, you're doing
like you won. Yeah, and you didn't give up like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, or like you didn't have to give that up. Brees, Bijan, you didn't have to give any of that up. You totally won. Well done.
There's faked in, I think, a new one here. Hey, welcome to the show here. And Raven Show Yo was talking to this guy about this, but let's take a look at it. Do I trade DJ Moore, Brian Robinson, and LaPorta for Alvin Kamara? I'm starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex, a Tien, Jordan Mason, Garrett Wilson, Rice, Bowers, and flex with DJ Moore. Do I trade DJ Moore, Brian Robinson, and LaPorta for Alvin Kamara? No, you're overpaying.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's buying way high on a Kamara 4-touchdown game. He's probably just going to do that one time this season. You missed out on the train if you didn't already have him. I mean, he could get another 2-touchdown game, and even whatnot. But I don't think that Kamara is going to do that. I love Kamara.
Yeah, I mean, LaPorta and Brian Robinson.
I'm a Kamara trooper.
Yeah, you're the biggest. You're the biggest Kamara
I'm not
fan
giving
too.
up that many guys for him. There's no way. And I think
because those guys are all starters. Like, and this might be like it's in player league or it's in team league, just because that team seems pretty stacked to have all those guys. But maybe it's just the way that kind of fell. Actually, he just drafted very well. But I would do like LaPorta and Brian Robinson because I'm sure he wants a running back. But I would do Robinson and LaPorta for Alvin Kamara. But I wouldn't throw DJ Moore in on top. That's just too much. And you don't necessarily, I guess, need the wide receiver, but you'd like to have. I think that's why he's your third best wide receiver.
Bowers, you know what I mean? So
if you have Bowers, and you want to upgrade, because again, Jordan Mason could be irrelevant here soon, and if he went hero RB with ETN, then he's going to be in that kind of situation. So
I'm going to do that. Shoot for guys like Bijan Robinson or Breece Hall.
I mean, Alvin Kamara, RB4 last year, full PPR. Like, he's RB1 right now. Like, he's safe. Like, as long as he's healthy, he's safe.
Yeah.
He's such a safe floor.
I just don't.
Such a safe floor. No competing back. Like, literally no competing back. Jamal Williams. He's not doing anything. He's a better goal line back and short yardage back than him and all that.
So. Kamara right now, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's literally RB1 right now.
I got him.
I would try to get it done without DJ Moore. I mean, I guess if you want to just do it to do it, man, it's not terrible, but that's just a lot of pieces. And
that's a lot.
Again, that's the kind of move I would do right before a trade deadline, not week 2, if that makes sense. So if we were in week 12 or right at the deadline right now, week 13, 14, and you're just trying to get the best lineup in for the next 3 games, that's when you put all your eggs in the basket. But in week 2, you can't sell off that many pieces. Like, look at the carnage we've already been seeing. Like, if that fell just a different way, that could have been your team decimated right now, and you'd be wishing you didn't trade that whole package. So anyway, we spent a little bit of time on that, but I think that was just good, a good example for the folks. I got one here. You can look for another one. But Raven says he bought T. Higgins today.
Same guy.
Oh, perfect. He said he sent out Zach Moss for T. Higgins. How you liking Zach Moss for T. Higgins?
I think that's a good offer. T. Higgins,
I think that's fair.
Back. You'll be doing all right.
Yeah,
T. Higgins will be back, and he's going to be throwing up some points. We were just talking about Chase, and they complement each other. He needs to be on there, so Chase does well. Higgins does well. That whole offense will start firing on all cylinders.
Good stuff. All right, you got one? I got one after you.
We got Nino Pena said, would you guys consider Pittman more of a buy low or just a complete fade still? And even Wicked Pompeo said, do we hit the panic button on Pittman, or is he a buy low candidate still? So we got
Michael Pittman chatter.
These guys were like back to back on Pittman. I have Pittman. I was high on Pittman. He had a really good season last year. I was looking rough. The guys are eating into his touches over here. It is looking rough. But I'm not panicking. I think he'll be all right. I think that that you had to temper expectations, but I don't think you're going to get too much for him at this point. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to package him out, and there's not so much winning with trying to do that.
Yeah, for me, he was a fade this year, just because we already worried about if he was going to score touchdowns. We figured the offense was going to run through A-Rich's legs and Jonathan Taylor's legs, and then Anthony Richardson's arm. He lit it up the first game. Even with that, he only had 4 catches for 31 yards on 8 targets, and then the next game he only had 3 catches for 21 yards on 7 targets. So for me, I'm fading. Like, if I can sell him and package him with him, I'm trying to come up. I don't think I'm at the point though where if I happen to draft him, like, would I trade him for someone like Rashid Shaheed? I think that's too low. But if I can put him with someone else and Pittman and Dobbins and go try to package up and get someone like that, turn that into a running back or a wide receiver there, an upgrade, then, I don't mind including him, in a package like that. But yeah, I'm not settling for like a Rashid Shaheed or someone like that. But like, would you take Jameson Williams right now or Michael Pittman?
J-Mo.
Okay, and he went like 4 rounds later.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but I mean,
Yeah.
you got people like Alec Pierce over there.
Jalen Reed
coming up. Josh
Jalen
Downs
Reed with
coming back.
Yeah, Jalen Reed or Michael Pittman.
Pittman right now because of the quarterback situation with Reed.
Well, I mean, with Love potentially coming back Sunday,
And then
as soon as Sunday.
I'd go Reed.
I mean, just with the touchdown upside alone, I'd rather take it, even if touchdowns aren't sustainable. Like, at least he scores them. Like, Mike doesn't
he's going to get one every other game or every 3 games.
Yeah.
You get 1 or 2.
It's Alec Pierce, 6'4" Alec Pierce and
So
6'2" 80 Mitchell.
We're fading him.
Yeah.
He's done.
All right. So good stuff. I think we missed this one, but I ended up catching it here. Josh Onager. He says he needs a running back bad. Would you do Gibbs and Higgins for Tyreek? So he's saying he needs a running back. Would you trade away basically Tyreek for Gibbs and Higgins is how I would read that. But again, just think of it in a vacuum. Who cares who's getting what, which side do you like? Who cares?
He needs a running back bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who cares exactly which way it's going? Just in a vacuum, do you prefer Gibbs and Higgins or Tyreek?
Tyreek still. I don't like Gibbs.
You don't like Gibbs?
David
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, just because David Montgomery, man.
Bro, he's scored like he's a walking 17 points, like 10 carries. He had 13 carries for 84 yards and that's who caught 7 for 7 was Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. It was only 22 yards, but he could just break one on any play. And the fact that he has 7 opportunities, that's going to break through. I personally would, especially if you're saying you need a running back bad. You're getting a high-end player in Gibbs. It's just, I think what Frank is saying, like if you're giving away Tyreek Hill, you'd probably want the wide receiver to be the better, it's not as far as a drop from wide receiver tier to down to Higgins. But it's, again, it makes it a little closer and also depends on who you have available, to you as well. But yeah, so that's my only thing. If you can get a little better wide receiver, Hill's worth it. So don't kind of sell yourself short. But if you're in a situation where you absolutely need a running back, like it's between, starting Gibbs and Higgins or Tyreek and Carson Steele, who would you rather start on Sunday? Carson Steele and Tyreek Hill or Gibbs and Higgins? Assuming Higgins is playing and healthy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I just, at some point, Gibbs just scares me.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. So we might be a little split on that one, Josh, but hopefully we hit some chords there for you that help you get there.
Number 1 picks. I mean, obviously with Gibbs and Tyreek, so
yeah,
first round picks. So
and you're getting like a 3rd or 4th round pick.
If you get another guy with them, it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah. All right. You have another one here.
Fake Dan came back with no, we did that one, right?
Yeah, we did that one. Yeah.
Let's go down. That was up high. Now we moved up on that. We gotta go through.
You guys are popping off in the chat. I love it.
Super chats, though, man. This is why we did your opportunity to get the super chats in. Makes it easier for us to see them. Make sure your chat gets read in case we do miss it, because we are trying to get to them all.
Or if you say like at Frank or at Rasta, remember we were doing that last year?
That was helping a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps too. So Red Solo Cups
just become a conversation that if you guys can't do that we got to remember to do that again this year, man.
We'll do it. We'll work it in. So Red Solo Cup, again, welcome back. I think I said what's up in the middle of the stream. For sure. But he said, y'all giving away any jerseys like he did the signed Gabe Davis jersey that we did at our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So shout out to remembering that. I don't even know if I have. I think I deleted that. I should have never deleted that photo off of here. I mean, obviously we still have it, but here in the StreamYard to pop it up real quick. But yeah, man. So 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So we're not giving away a jersey this year, but as we get closer to 2,000 subscribers, Red Solo Cup, maybe we'll consider bringing another signed jersey in here again. We'll do something big at 2,000. So help us get there, man. We're sitting at, I think, 1.23 or 24. Hopefully picked up 1 or 2 you guys here tonight. So if you are watching like on Twitter, where we get a lot of views. Hopefully you guys are coming over to YouTube as well. Just throw a subscribe. You can still watch on Twitter. Just throw us a subscribe on YouTube real quick. Go pop that open app and hit that subscribe button for us. Doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, you got it. I was trying to filibuster there for a bit. You find another question?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yeah, so no, I'm looking for that because these guys were, they're having great conversations here. So that's why I'm trying to get to the guys. Oh, here it is. Perry. Let's go.
Oh, I think we got it to it at the same time. Go ahead.
Perry got offered Nabers, Wilson, and Higgins for Chase. Should I wait for this week or accept it tomorrow? Nabers, and we were just talking about that. Selling high on Nabers, Wilson though, and Higgins. That's quite a bit much.
It's a nice little. I mean, if you are going to get a package for Chase, this is the time. This is the type of package you do. And if you're trying to get Chase, this is the kind of offer you send.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what's going to get the Jamar Chase owner to not instantly just decline it.
Yeah.
So as a Chase owner, man, I'm trying to really put myself in that position. If I open up my phone right now and saw an offer of Nabers, Wilson, and Higgins for Jamar Chase, would I accept it? I would say the only reason I'd probably say no is because I know just how I draft personally. With a wide receiver heavy build, I probably wouldn't need this many wide receivers. Obviously, if I was decimated, right, at injury, then it's a no-brainer. But for me, I would maybe counter like if you want to take your chance with Nabers and 18 targets, by all means. But you guys heard my rant earlier in the show, and pretty sure Perry's a Giants fan. So I'm sure that's why he's considering it as well.
He's like just thinking about it. I need a guy, right?
Garrett Wilson went, not too many picks after Jamar Chase, within 6 picks of Jamar Chase. And then you're getting Higgins. You're still getting a piece of that Bengals offense, if he comes back healthy.
Oh, so it's not Garrett Wilson. It's Russell.
Oh, it's Russell Wilson. Oh, in that case, it's a hard no then. Hard no. Even in Superflex. Because I don't think Wilson's playing this year.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, if it was Garrett Wilson, that's made it very interesting. Now he said, Russ.
Was confirming which Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, no. So sorry. So that's a hard no, man. That's a hard no. Yeah, that's a hard no. It was close. It was interesting there for a second. All right, so Red Solo Cope came back and said he drafted J.K. Dobbins 2 years ago. Then he drafted guys like Gus Edwards last year. Told myself I'd never draft a Baltimore running back again. And then Derrick Henry fell to him. And what was he supposed to do? You hit draft, my friend, and hope for the best. Yeah. I think there's better things to come. I think we talked about Derrick Henry earlier. Yeah. I think you'll be all right. Obviously, if you can package him, if there's someone that's a bigger Baltimore fan of Baltimore running backs than you, which I don't know, over the last 3 years, you're probably that guy now in your league. But if you can maybe package Henry with somebody else, and upgrade there, I would definitely try to consider it.
See this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Derrick Henry and
that's literally what I was about to say. All right.
How cup?
So Derrick Henry and Brian Robinson Jr. for Puka and Nabers. He has cup. Nah, I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm not doing that. Yeah, no. I'm not doing that.
I like those two running backs a lot more than those wide receivers.
Yeah. You don't want Puka and Cup. It's a nightmare. I won a championship with it last year, but it drives you crazy. I also won a championship with Higgins and Chase too, so that was weird.
Yeah, we have in the same year in our league now that has both Puka and Cup, and these scrambling trying to find a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So
don't do it to yourself.
Yeah, especially with him possibly going on IR, possibly not. We talked about it earlier. I'm sticking with those guys. But if you want to get it a little crazier, maybe do like a Brian Robinson Jr. for Nabers. Again, I'm not opposed to it. I understand there's people that I have to put my analyst hat on and understand there's the quarterback proof and 18 targets. And if you're getting that target share, then chase. That's what you want to chase.
PPR, right? PPR,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in full PPR, man, I would maybe take a shot. Like that would be worth it if you were able to trade Brian Robinson, if you have Henry and somebody else pretty solid. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to trade 2 running backs for just 2 wide receivers. Like you need a running back in return. Yeah. All right, so good stuff.
So we got Jordan Addison or Keenan Allen rest of the season.
Oh, I'm a Jordan Addison fan, man. I'm so invested on Jordan Addison. I have to say Jordan Addison. So full disclosure there. You might want to listen to Frank more on this one.
I'm sticking with Keenan Allen. He's pretty solid. He does got a heel injury though.
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen it yet from Jordan Addison. It's going to be a while before you get it all the way.
Yeah, I saw what I needed to see last year. He just needs to get back healthy this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets
Let's see if he
rested
gets
and
back
healthy.
healthy.
And
Let's see
with
if
the
he
way
gets back
Darnold's
healthy.
looking in that offense, that's why I just wanted a piece of that offense because that Kevin O'Connell offense, they throw the ball top 4 in the league last year. They haven't just slowed down at all. They're just throwing it all over the place. You know, Jamar Jefferson, 97-yard touchdown. Like, you want the guy opposite of that guy because they're going to put a lot of eyes on that guy. So your guy should be running wide open a lot of the times. So give me all the Jordan Addison I can get. All right. So
Here we go. If he loves Jordan Addison, get you some Jordan Addison. Cam the Ham. Should I trade Henry, London, and Robinson for JT, AJ Brown, and Pollard? There's a lot of Robinson going on in there.
I assume that's Brian Robinson and not Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I'm thinking Brian Robinson.
But I want some clarification on that. And just in the way he listed them, it seems like he listed them from best to worst, so to speak, or at least draft order. So if that's Brian Robinson Jr., then yeah, give me the JT, AJ Brown. Buy low on AJ Brown right now. Pollard's playing well. You know, he's at that same kind of level. If you want to say I prefer Robinson, but he's at that level of Pollard. JT is definitely an upgrade over Henry and AJ Brown is for sure an upgrade over London. So yeah, give me that all day.
Even it out with the other part of the Pollard part. Yeah.
For sure. It's a nice trade. It's really a nice trade. So well done with you guys for getting
whoever's putting that done and putting it together. That's good. I have a hard time putting them together.
I like it for both of you guys. Like, I mean, I like it for both. It's not like one person's getting over on the other. So
we got
I do like your side more though.
Yeah, I like it. We got sorry, I'm trying to move them on, right?
Sorry. No, good. Please do. Yeah, that's why I stopped and let you read it. Yeah, no, you got to do that. Keep me in line every once in a while.
Russ Maniac here. My league mate offered me Walker for Olave and Walker for MH Jr. Robert Harrison Jr. After I tried to trade him Mahomes for Walker because I got Hurts.
Is there a second part to that?
He got a counter offer. So my league mate offered me Walker for Olave and Walker for Robert Harrison Jr. After I tried to trade him Mahomes for Walker because I got hurt. So he's trying to get.
So he's trying to cash out on Mahomes.
And he's trying to get Marvin Harrison Jr. I got lost at that one.
So he tried to trade. Read it the other way. So he tried to trade Mahomes for Walker because he has Hurts. So he was trying to go get Walker. He countered and said Walker for Olave or Walker for Marvin Harrison Jr. So would you trade Olave or MHJ for Walker? Because this guy countered with it. So he obviously said, I don't want your quarterback, but I'm willing to give you Walker for, I want a wide receiver, either Olave or Marvin Harrison Jr.
And give up Olave.
If any of them I'm giving up Olave, like if you just like you lost Pacheco and you need like a RB1, I believe in Walker. He has the abdominal injury. Hopefully you can maybe trade something else and get Charbonnet, or maybe you are the Sharps owner already. Maybe that's why you're trying to target Walker, which would help if we knew that. It would be even better. But if you do have two other running backs to get you by and you have enough depth at wide receiver to deal with the Olave loss, then I think it's a fairly even trade, wide receiver for running back. They're, on the same type of tier.
You got
for
Mahomes and Hurts.
Yeah, some people take him back to back and try to do stuff like this. That's probably why he needs this piece.
Yeah, that's like what Jerry tried to do.
Because Walker, he probably could have just drafted Walker.
Nobody traded him. It was like our league does not go for that kind of stuff. Like, we'll let you sit with that all year long and think about it. Don't do that again.
We'll just make you drop them and then pick them up. Yeah, we're not going to give you the satisfaction.
We won't even give you.
We're going to stop that from happening in the next draft. You better draft right.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely the definition of collusion. So.
Yeah, but
that's okay. We won't talk. It's almost like an unwritten rule. So, yeah. Anyway, go ahead. You got any more in there? We're almost there.
Yeah, and I think we're almost there. They were talking about Daniel Jones' situation here that we talked about. That friend has a 10-team full PPR. I'm not sure what his question is. Oh, it's okay. Here it is. So, 10-team full PPR starters are 15. Stevenson, Warren, Lamb, Ayuk, LaPorta, and on the bench are Brown, Worthy, Thomas Jr., Spears, and Dowdle, Brooks on IR. Would you consider upgrading at RB2? Thoughts on team in general?
So first and foremost, Matt, while my co-host here analyzes what you just said, I'm going to say hopefully hit that like and subscribe button for us. Anyone watching here, especially if you're on the Twitter machine or X, come over to YouTube, hit that like button for us, and then you can go back to the Twitter machine and continue watching there, however you want to watch it. But we appreciate it. Help us hit that 2,000 subscribers, as Red Solo Cup was talking about, so we could throw out another signed jersey. Yeah, he says, again, 10 team. I'll read it real quick, and Frank will get your response. He says, again, 10 team, full PPR. The starters are AR-15. He has Stevenson and Warren, Lamb, Ayuk, LaPorta, London, and his bench is Brown, Worthy, Thomas Jr., who I like that, Spears, Dowdle, and Brooks in the IR. Yeah, I would definitely upgrade this.
Warren.
Or go ahead.
Yeah, you
what
have
do you
to
think?
move on Warren and get somebody. You got to get somebody besides Warren. I know that we were waiting to him to be somebody, but he hasn't come through yet. And I'm not sure when that's going to happen at this point.
For sure. And what piece would you take of his lineup to try to turn into that RB2?
Thomas Jr. and or Worthy would get you somebody.
I'm the other way around because I'd rather maybe trade off London to try to get that RB2, move Warren down into your RB3 range. And I feel comfortable at this point with what I've seen to have Brian Thomas Jr. and Xavier Worthy just kind of rotate in that flex spot kind of week to week, maybe depending on the situation or, if it doesn't work out with Thomas and Trevor's just trash or something out of nowhere, then at least you have Worthy attached to Mahomes and just ride that up and down roller coaster as we go. And who knows, you got Brooks and Dowdle, coming back as well too. I just don't think, it's there. So I think you can, with that wide receiver, depth that you have, those two rookies that you took as lotto tickets, I think you can kind of cash those out. Maybe, sell here to someone on London who's thinking they're, get fair market on London coming off this touchdown game to see if you can, parlay that into, a nice RB2. James Conner is someone I'm kind of thinking of would be nice. You might even be able to get James Conner and a wide receiver back, another lotto ticket type guy, Lad McConkey or, someone like that. So I'd look to do something like that, maybe with London or even Ayuk, but yeah, what do you think?
I like how you said it. I prefer you're moving on London while still holding Brian Thomas Jr. I like Brian Thomas Jr. That's why I was like,
he'll get you something, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
right now.
Like if you're coming to me with him, I'll take him.
I'll take him. Yeah, I was like, throw that guy at me, and I'll be like, yeah, why not?
Well,
he's worth somebody. That's why I mentioned that guy. So
yeah, no, good stuff.
If you gave me Brian Thomas Jr., I'd be like,
I'll give you RB2 for Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah.
So we
I like what I've seen.
Here talking about 12 team hold or drop Coleman, which I imagine is Keon Coleman. I would hold.
Yeah, I'm a hold still, man. He's 6'4", attached to Allen. There's going to be a time where Allen's going to get sick of handing to Cooks, man. He's going to take it himself and or start wanting to fling it around the field because endorsements, commercials, all those Subway commercials, he needs to be throwing for 300 yards, or rushing for 100. So if he's doing that, Coleman's going to have a piece of that.
And all these rookies, it takes time to develop, takes time to, for them to show up on your team and start showing up. So they're long-term investments. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I look at rookies. When I draft a rookie, I know that I'm going to have to hold and wait. For the majority of these guys, they're not going to just come out and be gangbusters right off the bat. You're going to have to hold on to them. Oh, did I say that I mentioned that Joe Ortiz one earlier? I think I passed it up.
Which one? This one about this damn Raiders hat?
No.
Oh,
this is Rasta Frank. That one.
Oh yeah, I put that one up right when it came in. Yeah, no, I thought you were talking about this one. He says, Rasta, you just need a good Raiders hat on. It'll fit with the scene behind you. No, man, I go with the black and white version of our logo here, just as my background, just so it doesn't get too crazy, blending in with all the blues. I like the contrast because I usually wear like a darker black shirt. And it goes good with my complexion here. So
I went with the man cave look.
And I honestly, just full disclosure, guys, I got outvoted 2-1 when we made the logo on colors. Obviously, as you guys know that were here with us from the beginning, Get Right Fantasy with me, Frank, and Dustin, when it was just the three of us. Frank and Dustin are Cowboys fans, so
We
if you guys wonder where, I mean, I tried hard to get it to be red and black, but I was, that's apparently what these guys said. So I gave up that to get a lot more control later. So I'm okay with the decision. So because then I can always come back to them and be like, I gave you guys the logo, so I get this.
Yeah.
So I designed it. They got to pick the colors. So, well, we all designed it, man. We all had a good input on that. That was good. So good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So all
right. What else we got?
George Play 01 to start 2 non-PPR, DJ Moore and Flowers or JMO or JSN. So this is the start 2 out of these. I'm starting JMO and
Flowers.
Flowers, yeah.
For me. Just like off the bat, I don't quite know the matchups right off the top of my head. That's why we do start sit on Fridays, George. But yeah, for the most part, yeah. I think the Chicago has a tough matchup, or maybe they finally have a good matchup. They're playing who? Indy? Somebody like that? Minnesota? I don't know. Either way. Yeah, I'm still going Flowers and JMO. Who else you got?
Him in one league, and just imagine if Flacco comes in and saves him. That's basically what it needs, because Anthony Richardson is not doing him any favors. And I like Anthony Richardson, but yeah, he was just gangbusters with Flacco in there. So
for sure.
Here's another one from.
We missed one from Leonardo up here. Renas, real quick. I'll give up Kyron Ayuk and DK, and he'll get Saquon Thomas. If I assume Thomas Jr. Zay Flowers, and is that Dionte Johnson? No, because it's Johnson. Who's Johnston with the T?
I don't know. Have to look that one up.
Yeah, who's Johnston? But either way, like just Kyron and Ayuk, and you're getting like Saquon, Zay Flowers. Like to me, just like that's enough. And you're getting Brian Thomas and some guy named Johnston. Like I'll take it. I'll take the Saquon side.
Quentin Johnston.
Oh, Quentin Johnston. I would give him Quentin Johnston back. I would just counter the same exact offer without Quentin Johnston and be like, here, I'm not even rostering him.
Yeah, don't move one of your spots to like ruin your stuff.
But if you like QJ, he was a first round pick. I was actually real high on him last year. If you guys remember, just didn't like what I saw. And again, I could be proven wrong this year, but I'm okay to be wrong this year. If he proves something this year, then I'll draft him again next year. But I'm out. I'm out this year. But yeah, I like that. Go get Saquon, man. He's going to be good.
Okay, so we would. Here we go. The Schmitty. Would you trade Ramonde or Mason for Josh Allen? My other running backs are Steele and Javonte Williams.
No, I don't think you can. You can't roll with Steele and Javonte. And I mean, if Josh Allen was putting up Josh Allen numbers and still had all his weapons,
basically he'll have Ramonde Stevenson and or Steele or Ramonde Stevenson and Javonte Williams, which I don't think it would be good.
I'm off of Javonte, and I can't trust Steele. Like to me, you have
two
RB4s.
Allen is gonna. You just said Allen's just about to start slinging it and this and that.
He could, but if he, I just lost on the guillotine league with Josh Allen because they only put me up 11 points.
I was baiting him.
You set me up. You set me up. You knew I couldn't take it. You know I couldn't say it. You know you couldn't mention Josh Allen without me saying that shit. He's like forever and clean to me now. He cost me my guillotine league. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. So I'm a little butthurt about that, Smitty. But yeah, I don't think you can. I think you need to ride that out and see how things go. And if anything, you might have to turn, Mason into somebody else that you can get, for the long term, or try to turn Javonte and Steele into somebody else for the long term, if and when CMC comes back and or just for bye weeks. So it might be a little tough because Steele might lose the job to P. Ryan and or Hunt or even CEH when he comes back. And then Javonte's already losing the job to McLaughlin. So
CEH might come back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want to pick up and hold right now if you could throw him in an higher spot or something.
For sure.
Be good. So Perry even agreed with this. Smitty, do not trade your running back for those are your other options.
That's a hard no for me.
He just isn't a volume passer yet. And that's true. He's just not there for the volume passer, but he will be. It is a super flex 2QB, and my QBs suck. LOL. Next time, draft your 2 QBs first and don't wait on them.
I mean, he could have Love and Caleb and just be in a fucked up situation.
And you would not be in that situation right now.
Nah, you can't. There's certain situations, man. You just can't. can't be in. But yeah, definitely still come draft with us in the offseason just to have some fun. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for us. Joe comes in and asks a real serious question. Are you going with salami or turkey for lunch tomorrow? If you had to choose.
Turkey. I'm going to turkey.
Oh, I'm taking salami. I don't do turkey.
Turkey's
Full
healthy,
disclosure,
man.
I don't know full disclosure, but just what do you call it? A little tidbit. I was born on Thanksgiving, so I don't like eating turkey. It's kind of like eating my own kind, I guess. So free all the turkeys.
Not having that.
free all the turkeys. All you guys who eat turkeys are crazy for Thanksgiving. Free the turkeys.
So look,
Let's go.
I go way back now. Come on, y'all the real ones. That's right.
Oh, see, there we go, man. That's what's up. That's what's up.
See,
All
Smitty,
right.
He's asking who Smitty.
Oh snap!
And
I don't know.
so
Did you even see this come up, bro?
What?
How do we do this to our
shoot.
man,
I
bro?
did not see it come up.
Leonardo.
That's
My
what's
apologies. How did we miss that? The chat must have flew by. I feel so bad, bro. Like, hey, my direct contact info is in the description for Sleeper, for Twitter. Bro, if you got questions all year long, like you just hit me up directly and we'll talk outside of live streams and everything, man. I feel so bad for not getting to this right away, man. And I will talk to you. Frank knows I will do it, man. Hit me up, please. I feel bad. Like, ask me any other questions. Like, send me your whole lineup. I'll do a whole breakdown with you if you want. I'll want to know who's on this other team, and I will literally talk this out for you. And Ravens, if he's still here, he'll tell you that I talked to him almost like for 3 hours one day, going over trade options and different counters and stuff he has. So yeah. So again, shout out for the super chat, man. We did answer the question at least a little while ago. But we should have answered it here with the super chat. So again, I apologize, man. That's like 30 minutes late, bro. I feel so bad for that. That came in at 10:18 and we're almost at 11 o'clock right now. So hopefully there's no other ones here
that were going on, man. And we're trying to get to everybody.
We got to look. We are new with the super chat, so just bear with us too, but we will get to it. This is not a sign of what's to come, man. We should have saw that right away. It should just like pop up on our screen, like, huge.
You do have that. I see it now. I see what's going on.
So we got to look at that starred section. Yeah.
Yes, my bad. Our bad.
Nah. We'll work on that. Frank, you got to hold down the chat for us. I'm blaming it on Frank. See, I gave you guys the logo. You need to watch the chat. See, that's when I get to use the logo against them. All right. So my bad. But yeah, again, I'm definitely taking that Saquon side, man, for sure. Yeah. All right. So what else do we have here? We have Camden.
Mentioned who his team was and the Smitty here, but I think his question got answered here. And I think we want to see this one too, right here. George, would you trade Jordan Mason for Derrick Henry?
Yeah, because I'd rather have the guy that I'm getting for the most part the whole year.
The whole year, yeah. Because
for sure.
Jordan Mason at some point will lose the job.
For sure.
Or at least be in a timeshare.
Right. I want to get back to Camden's question here.
Yeah.
Did we ask this one already? He has two options. Do you think I should trade Ramondre for Garrett Wilson? Or would you rather trade Ramondre for James Conner or Derrick Henry? So did he ask another question earlier?
Would you rather go for James Conner or Derrick Henry?
This was this one here. He has Stroud, Gibbs, Ramondre, Etienne, Chase, Nico, Waddle, McBride. Would you trade Ramondre for Garrett Wilson? So I think this was the original one.
Yeah, and then go back to the other one now.
So he has Gibbs, Ramondre, Etienne. So he's good there. Is Chase and Collins. That's sick with Waddle. So getting the upgrade there would be nice. He has the tight end. Would you trade Ramondre for Garrett Wilson to upgrade that Waddle spot? Honestly, man, that is tough. That is really a tough one. Or does he trade Ramondre and get Cook or Connor or Henry and just get a different running back? Man, that's a tough one.
I don't know about moving across. That's like a lateral move.
Yeah, like if anything, like go get Wilson, maybe for the upside in full PPR, to just upgrade that Waddle. Just because I was big on Waddle, but obviously with the Tua situation, like we'll wait and see. But rest of the season, who do you have ranked higher, Ramondre, Connor, or Derrick Henry? I kind of all have them like basically in the same
They're
tier.
in the same group. Yeah, they're in the same tier. I mean, you're
You're literally
trying to
splitting
figure
hairs.
out. Yeah, you're trying to figure out who's going to be the guy.
I mean, if it's full PPR, I'm leaning more Connor, just because he'll get more work out of the backfield and part of a little higher scoring offense. Derrick Henry could
really hard.
Get the touchdown upside there, but Connor's coming off back-to-back like 20-point games. So if you just weren't big on Ramondre, and I kind of like his schedule if you kind of look at it as well too. But Connor, I think I prefer Connor over Derrick Henry, and I think I prefer Wilson overall over Connor or Henry. I still think I lean that way because I think that wide receiver could even be more valuable. So if you do need to flip it later, you could probably churn Garrett Wilson into a same level of this running back plus another wide receiver, in my opinion. Like if you can get Wilson for just Ramonde, I like that deal. Because we were taking Garrett Wilson at the back end of the first round. Ramondre was what, a 4th, 5th round pick, 6th round pick?
Yeah. So
for sure. Yeah, I'll take Wilson all day there, actually.
It'll get better over there.
For sure. All right. Man, I'm so bad, Leonardo, man. Look at he was asking other stuff in there too. At least the guys in the chat were answering them there, going back and forth. So good stuff.
Where's Wilson?
Look at like Red Solo Cup C. He's one of the OGs. He took care of us in the chat here, made him feel welcome. So we appreciate that. We're going in 46 minutes of Q&A session for you here. So like we said, guys, we try to get to every chat that we can. This show isn't anything without you guys. We'll try to get through it. Right yeah, who else do you got? Like bring it up. Like I'm just talking to fill time until you put something on the screen.
18 full PPR, Mahomes, Cook, Montgomery, Jefferson, Olave, Bowers, Diggs, benches, Burrow, Brown, Reed, Harris, Dobbins, Kelsey. Drop Breed for JMO to flex, or drop Harris for B-Rob and start over Montgomery.
So it's 18.
Oh, yeah, that's why they're just stacked over there.
Mm-hmm.
I would start JMO right now. He's, I don't know when, you were saying Jordan Love might come back this week. But JMO's been pretty decent. And I think he's going to have a breakout season. I really like him this year.
Yeah, I like both those options. But
and then you're talking Harris here.
I like JMO
for
right
B-Rob.
And I don't know about start him over Montgomery, but I like him backing up Montgomery a little more. I'm not a big Najee fan, so to me, I'm the biggest B-Rob fan. You'll probably know. So I'll take B-Rob. But I'm also one of the biggest Montgomery fans as well too. So yeah, those are like two of my favorites. So if I can lock up that B-Rob Montgomery,
the Reed's number one over there, man.
I
would wait one more week before you do anything.
Sometimes you don't have that week, man.
Yeah,
that performance could help you, it could hurt you. But drop Reed for JMO in the flex. I'm okay flexing JMO, man. I think he has a good enough floor at this point. Because again, it's not like he's just getting go routes, and he's getting good targets and taking targets away from LaPorta and Amon-Ra. They're trying to work this dude in and make him be something.
J-Mo.
So yeah, I'd go get JMO for sure. And yeah, I'm taking B-Rob, just not starting him over Montgomery.
Yeah,
I'd play the matchup. All right, so I got one here from Brad. Excuse me, from Brad. Go ahead and read it. Need a water.
Would you trade Lamar, Ford, and Smith for Dak, JT, and DJ Moore? So he's trying to take Lamar. Ford.
No, I'm taking my chances with Lamar, Devonta Smith, and Jerome Ford. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're upgrading at that RB position, but I would. I like Lamar.
I'm not sure Smith is that even lower than DJ Moore or anything.
I have Smith well ahead of DJ Moore, and I have Lamar well ahead of Dak.
Yeah.
But I have JT well ahead of Ford. So I'll take the Lamar Ford Smith side for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Thomas says, or did we get to this one already?
I don't even know.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Honestly.
So 12 team, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Are we holding Coleman? His wide receivers are Rice, Ridley, Christian Watson, Darnell Mooney, Demarcus Robinson, and Keon Coleman. So out of that group, I'm trying to trade Ridley, actually. So let me get rid of Ridley. And I'm holding Coleman over Mooney at this point, just because of the potential upside, especially if you don't need to rely on Mooney right now. But I love Rice. I like Christian Watson once Love comes back. And hopefully, if you have all those guys, I mean, hopefully they're holding you through to where you can still
I
keep
like
Coleman.
Mooney, man. I like Mooney. I've seen what the targets he was getting, how he's playing. He passed the eye test for me. So,
If you prefer Mooney, like I would drop Robinson then, because again, Puka and Cup will eventually come back. They're not season-ending injuries, whereas Coleman can be that second half spark, league winner type guy. And again, if Mooney is also the wide receiver too there behind London, so he should have some type of work and be there also for the entire year and not
stay there.
relegate to a wide receiver 3-4.
Well said, Robinson.
So
Let's drop that
all right,
guy.
good stuff. All right.
Yeah, we need to have
already
these
did
guys do the ads.
Smitty's.
So we're into that same situation
good
where we were
stuff.
last year, where we're like, these guys having great conversations, which we love.
Good problem to have, man. It's better than just having nobody on the stream and no questions coming in.
Nothing to happen, right? Here we go.
Yeah,
Max Rogers, top RB trade targets. I think we went through that. I think I'm going to need an upgrade. I have Taylor, Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, and Chase Brown. So we're holding on Chase Brown till further notice. Taylor's doing all right. Aaron Jones, in rocky start. Ty Chandler's a little injured right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the guys that are kind of on the move, right now, and again, he probably asked this question a while ago. Obviously, you can go back and watch our, top trade targets, and when we did our buy, sell, hold, segment. But as far as, running backs that are like on the move right now, that are available, are guys like, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, possibly Travis Etienne, Brian Robinson Jr., Ramondre Stevenson, we've heard a ton of, David Montgomery, Zach Moss, these are the kind of guys that are being moved right now. We even heard one with Kyron Williams being traded earlier, my guy, Rachaad White, that I mentioned, Ken Walker. If you believe in buying, guys with a little bit of injury going on, buying low while you can, those are the guys I'm looking to go after.
Ooh, here's a good one.
Should I offer CMC and Ayuk for Chase and Bijan? You can offer it. Let me know if they accept it. Yeah, Chief Anabi. He's been here before, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Chief Anabi.
And Ayuk for Chase and Bijan?
Or it's Chef Anabi, I think it is.
Chef
We say Chief. It's literally a guy with the chef hat.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
What I said, Chef Anabi.
Yeah, good stuff.
Shoot. I guess he's ready to move on CMC, see?
Yeah. It's a risk.
You could probably get Chase and Bijan.
I don't know, because if you're taking Chase and Bijan, then he doesn't have anyone to start. I think you still need another piece with it. Like if you had CMC and Mason and Ayuk. But yeah, it's hard to trade, two guys on one team. Even as a Niners fan, I'd be a little hesitant to accept, both of those guys. Because really when they're both in there, they kind of cannibalize each other. So if anything, I want one or the other. So yeah, maybe you have another piece you can put with it. You might actually need two more pieces to go with it. So, and the guy would have to be completely out on Chase, but I don't see it really going to Bijan. But yeah, let us know if you're able to make that happen.
And here's some props from Raven. So Russ is literally the man. He will help you negotiate. And
There you go. That's for Leonardo, man.
So Leonardo, again, we apologize, man.
Bro, I feel so bad.
How that even happened, but there's just so much right now. We're trying to keep up with everybody here.
For sure. Where you at? You got another one?
I'm throwing through here.
I got one here. Did we do this one already?
Yeah,
go ahead.
We're literally clicking on the same one. Sorry, Keon Coleman, Waddle or London versus KC. J-Mo, Najee versus the Chargers. I would go with J-Mo and Najee.
You got to start three. So J-Mo, Najee, and who?
And London.
All right, so I'm going London and J-Mo for sure. And I think you just have to go Waddle this week and see what happens.
Waddle, really?
Yeah, if you need some floor, you can go Najee. But again, full PPR, I like to get my wide receivers in there. They're going to need to throw that off. That defense is terrible. He's like in that, Devontae Adams type range or even lower now. That kind of situation. So, yeah, I mean, if you want a little safer, situation, go with Najee. if you want a little upside, but it also could be very disastrous, then go with Waddle. But I'm trying to sit Coleman for now. I got to see it.
Yeah,
You might miss out on his first big game, but once he has it, you'll be like, all right, he's in there now.
Yeah, we're good, right? Start 2. Charbonnet, Shakir, Steele, or Christian Watson, or T. Higgins. Full PPR, need 2 for my flex spots.
Who you got?
Charbonnet and Steele. Let's see what that guy's got. Charbonnet's coming in for the injury.
Yeah, obviously no Walker. I'm going Charbonnet. If Walker is playing,
I mean, I
I'm
see
going to
Anthony
go
picked up
Shakir.
Charbonnet, so
Yeah, and I played him. Hey, him and Henry.
Yeah.
They saved my ass this week. Both of them. Those are 2 great pickups for me. Let's see. So Shakir, I'm pretty locked in Shakir as one of those options. And if Walker's in, then I would probably go Higgins if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, then I'm going Watson. Like I'm just kind of fading Steele here.
Yes, it is. It's T. Higgins.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then if not, then obviously if Walker's out, then it's Charbonnet and Shakir for me easily. And I'm playing this combination probably in several leagues. So at least Shakir for sure. I have a lot of Shakir.
Shakir? Yeah. Yeah, still, let's see where we at here.
This is good stuff, man. This chat is crazy tonight. Did we talk about this one? Would you trade Jordan Mason for Derrick Henry? Yeah, I think we talked about
we did
that one.
I'm at the bottom now. I finally got to the bottom. Hey,
all right, so we're good?
2 hours
we're
in.
good?
1 hour Q&A. You guys are welcome.
All right, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, yeah, that was a good one, man. Keep it coming. We like it. Obviously, as the weeks go on and more injuries happen, these shows are going to get busier and busier. Man, we've been holding at like 40 plus viewers almost this whole time. So big shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us. Of course, it's late for those East Coast folks, and maybe some night workers out there, and then of course our West Coast folks as well too. So again, we will be back here on Friday with 2 shows for you. We'll be live for probably at least 3 to 4 hours, going game by game, letting you know who we're starting, who we're sitting. In the first hour or so, it'll be Kendall and Classic Mike. They will go through the first 7 games or so, as well as a Thursday night football recap. And then Phil and I from the Extra Point will come on and do the part 2. We'll take the remaining games plus 2 Monday night games this week. So that should be interesting. Usually they only do that week 1. So we'll be back here for you guys on Friday, of course, taking your live questions. And again, hopefully we don't miss that super chat. We won't miss it again when it comes through, Jordan. Again, make sure you get down there and DM me directly, my guy, and I'll help you out, man. I feel in your debt. So we really appreciate it. Just from all of us over here at Get Right. And he's going to be pissed if we run brooms. Yeah. We appreciate all you guys. Frank, you got anything else to say here in closing before we get out of here?
I just want to let you know I picked up P right now. We're there, everybody to go for Steele. And I think P. Ryan being the vet, being who, knowing this, being in football longer. He's not the rookie guy here. I think that they'll settle for him a little bit over Steele. And obviously still get some opportunities, but I think it'll be more, 60-40 or 70-30 P. Ryan versus Steele.
There you go. All right, man. So from all of us here, man, again, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming out with us here. For Dustin, for Classic Mike, for my boy Frank here, from the rest of the Get Right affiliates, the Fantasy Football Tavern, the Extra Point, the Fantasy Boardroom with Tycoon, Kendall, and Phil. We all wish you guys all the best here heading into week 3, and we will see you guys on Friday. Peace out.
Peace out.
White fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves.